possible. Yeah, for the third Friday.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. We're going to get started with our Sabbath service. Let's all take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And let us put our arms up, put our hands up so that we can receive the energy that is available to us at this time. So I can see, look at, Jeremy is being the Vav. So this is what we did. We just culminated our Hebrew meditation class on the letters. We will be starting back up again in October if anyone wants to pop in. But the Vav, we stand up straight and tall. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Another one. Preparing ourselves for sacred worship. Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad, page 128. Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov shevet achim gam yachad. Come on up, you guys, you too. Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, ya la la, ya la 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 la. Hine matov, ya la la, ya la 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 la. Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Shevet achim gam yachad. Shabbat Shalom. Turn to your neighbor, say Shabbat Shalom. It is so wonderful to be here together, and we are thrilled to have some old friends and some new friends and everyone all together. Make new friends and keep the old. One is silver and the other is gold. Here we go. Okay, silver and gold. So we have one more Shabbat service at Temple Emet on September 8th, and then we will change our books from the Siddur to the Machzor, and we have the gold for Rosh Hashanah, and we have the silver for Yom Kippur. So one more time, you guys all have to be here on September 8th. Jeremy and Heather will be sharing their essays from conversion. They will be converting that week with me, and we will give them their certificates. And then after Yom Kippur, somewhere around Sukkot, then they will go to the Beit Din and at the AJU, because they didn't sell the building and they're still there, so we're going to get them in. But first, we're going to take them to the beach so that they can be Jewish for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur officially. So if you will turn in your books to page 142, and before that, Sue's going to come up and light the candles, and I think the candle blessing is on 120. So we look at these candles and we make that connection to partnership and what it means to be in partner with Adonai, with that divinity that's outside of us, but also inside of us. And we make that connection for Shabbat, and we carry it over into the coming week when we make that separation for Havdalah. So the 2 candlesticks are there. We're going to make 3 circles, making order out of the chaos of the world. And there's a lot of chaos right now. And once again, we would like to dedicate this service to the people of Maui who are suffering so much at this time. As we look at this flame and we think about how things can go so quickly awry. 3 circles. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Turn to your neighbor and say Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Okay. Also, on September 8th, it will be a big night. We're going to hear both of their essays, so there probably won't be a sermon, but I will try to prepare you for Rosh Hashanah coming right after that. But it is also, we do the holiday closest to our Shabbat service, so Slichot, the time for our penitential prayers, is always the Saturday before Rosh Hashanah. So for us, we will do it on Friday the 8th. So we've been preparing. And so there will be the prayer book, this one for our Shabbat prayers. We will then hear their essays, and then towards the end of the service, then we will switch to the Slichot prayers to prepare us for our Yamim Noraim, our High Holy Days. So now if you will turn to page 142, we have Shalom Aleichem, where we're going to welcome in the angels for this Shabbat. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon. Melech, Malachei HaMlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'hem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Sechem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Melech malachei hamlachim hakadosh baruch Hu. And on page 138, we have our Lacha Dodi. We're going to do verses 1, 5, and 9. And when we get to verse 9, we turn around and we face the door and we welcome in the Sabbath bride. So once again, like the 2 candlesticks, Am Yisrael, we are in partnership with the divine, but on Shabbat we have the angels that we welcome in, and also that Sabbath bride. Lacha Dodi. Soon you guys can clap. Okay, we can do better than that. Lacha Dodi. Zikra kala, Pnei Shabbat Nekabala. Lacha Dodi, Zikra kala, Pnei Shabbat Nekabala. La Lacha Dodi, Zikra kala, Pnei Shabbat Nekabala. Lacha Dodi, Zikra kala, Pnei Shabbat Nekabala. Verse 1. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Ishmi'anu el hamichad, Adonai echad, Shemo echad, L'shem u'letiferet Kabbalah. Verse 5. Hitoreri, hitoreri, Kiva orek miori, ori ori shidaberi, Kevadadamai, like la 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 la, Hadopi, Ligvad, Ligvad, Kala, Panay, Panay, Shabbat, Kabbalah, Laha, Laha, Dovi, Ligvad, Ligvad, Kala, Panay, Panay, Shabbat, Kabbalah. Verse 9. Bawi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha v'sohala, tov v'nei am segula, bawi chala, bawi chala. Lacha lacha dofi, v'krat v'krat hala, v'nei v'nei Shabbat v'kabbalah. Lacha lacha dofi, v'krat v'krat hala, Panay, Panay, Shabbat Kabbalah. Panay, Panay, Shabbat Kabbalah. Panay, Panay, Shabbat Kabbalah. Please be seated. And now, if you'll turn to page 144, we have the Hatzi Kaddish, which separates our service. If you want to learn some more about what the prayers mean, we will be doing that when we start our class in October and making that connection both to the actual literal meaning of the prayer and maybe the mystical Kabbalistic side. Some people want some Kabbalah again. So, page 144. Yikdav yikdash shmei rabba ve'alma divrach yiratei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayedecho beit Yisrael Bagala, Bagala, V'izman Karivim Erev. Yehei Shmei Rabba Mevarach, Le'alam Lo Me'amaya. Yibarach, V'yishtabach, V'yitpa'ar, V'yitromam, V'yitnasei, V'yidhadar, V'yidhaleh, V'yidhalal, Shemei Dekudesha, Brechu, Le'elamin Kol Birchata, V'shirata, Tishrechata, V'nechemata, Damiran Ve'alma V'yimeru. Amen. So now the Baruch Hu can be found on page 146. It is our official call to worship. And in Judaism, do we bow down to anybody except Adonai? No. So out of deference and to give praise, I, as the leader, will bow the first time. You stand straight and tall. Then you bow the second time. And then I will complete the prayer, bowing the third time. So as the ark is opened, if you're able, please rise in it as you have done, and if you're not able, that's okay too. So take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Yai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai 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 dai. Yeah, da 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 da. Yeah, da 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 da. Yeah, da 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 da. Baruch et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Please be seated. And we've done that 3 times. And what do we say when we have things in a state of 3? We create order out of the chaos. Absolutely. There's a lot of chaos. How many, does anyone watch Witcher? I think it's on Netflix, Witcher. Well, no one here watches Witcher. Oh my. Witcher. Witcher. Yes, sort of like a witch, yes. Well, there's witches there, but anyway, they master chaos. And there's different characters, but chaos is something that you really have to be careful with because Richard, everything's Jewish. Most of the writers are Jewish, but no, well, if there's chaos, there must be Jews there, right? Okay, yes, so anyway, but I was just thinking about they harness this chaos and then it overcomes them and they have to be careful how they use it. So, we have these opportunities to manifest energy and it's up to us to determine which way we want it to go. So, thinking of that, let's read on the bottom of page 149. We speak about energy. This is an hour of change, and within it we stand uncertain on the border of life. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? And the text of the Ma'ariv Aravim, the evening prayer on page 148. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, v'chochma poteach she'arim, v'bivuna meshaneh itim, v'machalif et hazmanim, v'misader et hakohavim, v'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono, v'rayom v'layla, gulel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, v'mavir yom, v'mevi layla, v'mavdil ben yom v'ben layla, Adonai Sevaot Shemo El Chai v'kayam, Shamim lo chaleinu le'lam ba'ed, v'haruch atah Adonai Amariv Aravim. And the way that our prayer book goes, if you see we just did the Hebrew text, underneath it, that English translation is the closest to the actual meaning of the prayer. And then on the left-hand page, those will be more poetic, esoteric versions of it. But if you're, even sitting there and you're, not following the Hebrew and you want to connect to the prayer, read the English that's directly under the prayer. So now we're going to call Heather up to do Ahavat Olam on page 150. Please join in with her. Asher Koach. So Heather is mastering one prayer after another, and she may have a couple during High Holy Days. As the years go by, we will add them up. So we're now going to read at the bottom of page 151. And we prepare ourselves for the Shema. We are meant to connect to that voice inside of us that is the divine, that is guiding us always and is there with us, even at times when we may doubt. So let us read at the bottom of 151. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol, all these things your Torah gives to us, and the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. And let's read underneath the line. Torah is what God has revealed to us and what we discern of God. Ideas and ideals, laws and mitzvot, our religious heritage. It unfolds our memories of Abraham and Sarah, of Moses and Miriam and the prophets. It is legislation and explanation, allowing questions that challenge, answers that inspire, all a quest for meaning. It is our way of life, a path for our souls, and the design for a better world. And it says it is legislation and explanation. And our parsha, this Shabbat, is Shoftim, and it is a parsha that does have a lot of that in it, and our lawyers like that one. So now we're going to have our Shema. And so what we'd like to do first is we're going to do a little meditation where we're going to elongate the sound and make that connection to our breath that's inside of us. And we'll just do the Shema, just as the prayer itself, and then Heather will come back and sing it. So we're not going to do the singing of it right now, so everyone take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Now, if you would like to stand for the Shema, please do. If you'd like to be seated, do that as well. And so you want to try to situate yourself, be the vav, be as straight as you can be, whether you're sitting or standing. So you want to bring that breath into your vessel, and so that we can make that connection. It is said that all of us that are here together now, we were together before at the base of that mountain when we received the commandments, bearing witness to the oneness of God. And we have found our way back to each other at this time. So another deep breath in and a deep breath out. Deep breath in. Shema Yisrael. The Shema.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael
now our Ve'ahavta is on the next page. We are commanded to love God with all of our heart, soul, breath, all of our being, and then to pass that love on to our children, as is done by so many here. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavecha v'chol nafshecha v'chol meodecha v'hayu ha'devarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom ha'levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibartavam v'shitecha b'beitecha Uvelektecha v'derech, uveshokvecha, uvekinecha, uveshartam le'od al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot beinecha, uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha, leman tizkaru, v'asitem ekol misotai, v'yitem kedoshim, le'lohem, Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher Hotzeiti Echem Me'eretz Mitzrayim V'hiyot Lachem Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem Amen. And now we turn to our text right before the Milchamocha. So we are in a period earlier today, and now we're going, when sun sets, it's the 2nd of Elul. And, there's a book called The Jewels of Elul. So Elul is the month right before Rosh Hashanah, where we are really, truly meant to start the process of really looking in. That's why the last sermon since July, each one I've tried to bring you closer and closer to that place where you can start to begin your cheshbon hanefesh, the accounting of your soul. All of us, all of our souls. And then when we change those Torah covers to white on September 8th, that's when we officially mark the transition from the rest of the time that we have in the calendar to the purity and the holiness and the sacredness of the Yamim Noraim, those holy days of awe. So when we think of the Milchamocha, we had a choice. We could stay in slavery, or we could go forward to something that we didn't know. We knew what was behind us. And many times when we were wandering in the desert, we wanted what was familiar, even though it was horrible. Have you ever felt like if something's really bad, at least it's the bad you know, and maybe you'll just stick with it? So, but sometimes we have to make ourselves break through to get to the light and to go forward into a sea that isn't parted yet. But through our proactiveness and our willingness to kadima, to go forward, that sea does part. And so when we're in the darkest of times, it's hard to realize that. But the sea at some point will part and you will walk through to the other side. Sometimes that other side is nothing that we would expect, but it is what is meant for us, that is divine for us, whether we like it or not. So at the top of page 157, standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place and a promised land, and that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. And in the cycle of our whole prayer, there's always the ups and the downs and the ups and the downs. But before we dance around for the Milchamocha, let us read at the bottom of 157 as we think about everything that's going on in the world. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. Milchamocha, if you're able to, get up and dance around. Are you both ready to do it? You're going to lead them? Okay. So Heather and Jeremy are going to lead you. Maybe some of our musicians will decide to get up and do it, and you can just, shake your tushy in the pews if you want. But Micha Mocha, page 158. Lots of ruach in this room. Everybody's dancing. It's wonderful. Thank you for leading the way. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב ולאום יד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל Yisrael. And so now we have the Shamru on page 162. And together let us read underneath, the people of Israel shall keep Shabbat, observing Shabbat throughout the ages as a covenant for all time. It is a sign for all time between me and the people of Israel. For in 6 days Adonai made heaven and earth, and on the 7th day God ceased from work and was refreshed. Vishamru. We're getting used to the version that we're going to do at High Holy Days. So this is the Finkelstein version, and we're going to do it the Shabbat, next Shabbat, so you'll be ready, because this year, Rosh Hashanah falls on Shabbat. Are you ready? V'shameru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat le'dorotam berit olam. One more time. V'shameru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat le'dorotam berit olam. V'ni omen b'nei Yisrael, v'ni omen b'nei Yisrael, et hileolam, v'shameru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat le'dorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim, ki sheshet yamim, ata Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz v'shameru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat le'dorotam berit olam. V'bayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayhi Israel et hashabbat la'asot et hashabbat לדורותם בריתו. One more time. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם בריתו. Good job, everybody. Yasher Koach. So now we go into our Amidah, where we remember our ancestors, everyone who came before us, and it's on page 164, 166, 168, and then we have the sanctification of the day on 170. Remember on 168 to do the insert for summer. Does it feel like summer? But pretty soon, in another month or so, it's going to be, when do we change to winter? After Simchat Torah. So I'm counting on all of you. If everyone shows up, we have Sukkot and Simchat Torah the first Friday in October. We unroll our Torah around the whole sanctuary. But if we don't have enough people to hold that Torah, are we going to unroll it? No. So I want you to tell me if you're going to be there, because we are not going to drop the scroll, right? That's not how we're going to start our new year. So please rise. Let me know if you're going to plan to be there. And put the date in the first Friday of October in your calendar. Page 164 as the ark is opened if you're able. Anananananana Adonai, Ananananana Svatai Tifta, Ananananana Ufi Yagi Tehilatecha, Ananananana Adonai, Ananananana Svatai Tifta, Ananananana Ufi Yagi Tehilatecha, Ananananananana, Ananananana Adonai, Ananananana Svatai Tifta, Ananananana Ufi Yagi Tehilatecha, Adonai Svatai Tifta, Ufi Yagi Tehilatecha, Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, Bekonei Hakol, Bezocher Hastei Avot v'Imahot, U'mei Geulah Livnei B'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh Meitim Atah, Rav Lehoshia, Morid Hatah, Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed, Mechayeh Meitim Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Baal Gevurot, Umido Melach, Melech Memi, Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman Atal HaChayot HaKol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaMeitim, Atah Kadosh V'Shem HaKadosh, U'Kadoshim L'Chol Yom, Yahalalu Chasela, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Please be seated. Shabbat Shalom. I told you earlier what our parsha was. What did I say it was? Shoftim. Very good. Hilda, past chair of religious practices. Okay, so Shabbat Shalom. Our parsha this Shabbat is Shoftim, and it's primarily about leadership. And Hilda is a retired lawyer. And the distribution of power and accountability, magistrates, a Supreme Court, those things like that, the makings of an organized judicial and political structure. This is now being set up. Our lawyers love this parsha. This is the seed of their fruition. Juxtaposed to leadership, there are warnings against sorcery, witchcraft. Remember, I told you to think about witch, or forget about that. Bearing false witness when giving testimony. But one of the more interesting takeaways is the necessity for humility, even for kings. In our day and age, also for queens. Rabbi Jonathan Sachs of blessed memory recalls a story about Queen Elizabeth at the time of her Diamond Jubilee. On January 27, 2005, the 60th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz. Punctuality, said Louis XVIII of France, is the politeness of kings. Royalty arrives on time and leaves on time. So it is with the Queen, but not on this occasion. When the time came for her to leave, she stayed, and one of her attendants said that he had never known her to linger so long after a scheduled departure time. She was meeting with a group of Holocaust survivors. She gave each survivor, it was an extremely large group, her focused, undivided, unhurried attention. She stood with each one until they had finished telling their personal story. One after another, the survivors were coming to her in a kind of trance, saying, 60 years ago, I did not know whether I would be alive tomorrow. And here I am today, talking to the Queen. It brought a kind of blessed closure into deeply lacerated lives. 60 years earlier, they had been treated in Germany, Austria, Poland, in fact, in most of Europe, as subhuman. Yet now the Queen was treating them as if each were a visiting head of state. That was humility. Not holding yourself low, but holding others high. And where you find humility, there you find greatness. It is important for us to remember that being humble, thinking of others, getting outside of ourselves and our own personal drama, anyone have drama? Brings positivity and goodness into our sphere and also into our world. We are cogs in a wheel that can generate positivity or negativity. Yes, God is there guiding us, but we have free will to alter our course to a degree and affect our individual and collective destiny. This is when God, the ultimate parent, has to stand by and watch like a parent with a toddler. Watch as we stumble and fall. He or she is helpless at times, waiting for us to get up again and to not only walk, but to run. We have it within us. We just have to keep picking ourselves up and doing it again and again and again and again until we can run. Run toward all that is good. Run toward all that is holy, and run toward that which is destined for us. Run toward and embrace the promise. Faith, humility, and spirituality all come with the promise of having it be good, because we are thinking and acting in ways that are positive. Positivity begets positivity. And we all know what negativity brings, just more chaos. Rabbi Sachs expounds further on this parsha, on the value of being spiritual and walking humbly with God. Spirituality makes a difference to the way we act, feel, and think. Believing that there is a God in whose presence we stand means that we are not the center of our world. God is. There is something greater. I am dust and ashes, said Avraham, the father of our faith. Who am I? Said Moshe, the greatest of all prophets. Yet it was precisely at that moment Avraham called himself dust and ashes that he challenged God on the justice of his proposed punishment of Sodom and the cities of the plain. It was Moshe, the humblest of men, who urged God to forgive the people, and if not, blot me out of the book you have written. Despite their humility, these were among the boldest people humanity has ever produced. Humility means that you are secure enough to not have to be reassured by others. It means that you don't feel like you have to prove yourself by showing that you are cleverer, smarter, more gifted, more successful than others. You can still feel secure because you know that you live in God's love and that God has faith in you even if you do not. You don't have to compare yourself to others. You have your task, your mission, your purpose in life, and they have theirs. And then that leads to a sense of cooperation rather than competing. This means that you can see other people and value them for what they are, meeting them where they are, secure in yourself. You can value others truly. Confident in your identity, you can value people who are not like you. You are not threatened. When we place the self at the center of our universe, we eventually turn everyone and everything into a means to an end, and then that diminishes them, which then diminishes us. Humility means living by the light of that which is greater than ourselves. When God is at the center of our lives, we open ourselves up to the glory of creation and the beauty that can be found in one another. The smaller the self, the wider the radius of our world. It is written in our parsha, each of us is meant to act as if we were a king or a queen with honor and humility. We are created B'Tselem Elohim in the image of God, and we are meant to act as such. In just a few weeks, we will be praying to Avinu Malkeinu, our Father, our King, for compassion, to move from that seat of judgment to that seat of mercy, to look at our deeds in the past year and then to be benevolent, and to not only write, but seal us for goodness in the coming year. How can we ensure this? One way is to behave like Moses, who was considered to be the most humble man on earth. Behave with humility. Rabbi Sachs goes on to say, in Jewish thinking, arrogance is the worst of all traits, while humility is the greatest trait. Being humble, this does not mean that you are diffident, meek, self-abasing, timid, bashful, demure, or lacking in self-confidence. Moses was none of these. It means that you're honoring others and regarding them as important, no less important than you are. It does not mean that you're holding yourself low. It means holding other people so high that you can actually elevate them and see their glory, and then that radiates upon us all. It means roughly what Ben Zoma meant when he said in Avot, who is honored? One who honors others. Our parsha this Shabbat says that a Jewish king is commanded to write for himself a Torah scroll and to carry it with him at all times. Not only must he write it, he must carry it with him. We just came through the 3 weeks of Av. Remember that whole negative time, but we still have Mercury happening and we're not really free till Rosh Hashanah. The most negative time in our Jewish calendar, when horrific things happen to us by egotistical maniacs like Hitler or the leaders of the Spanish Inquisition, but also the fact that our 2 temples were destroyed. Yet from that point on, we were meant to carry our Torah forward. Not just the prophecy, but its morality, its necessity for order, its necessity for structure, and its commands to be kind toward one another and to, yes, act humbly and walk with God. We are commanded to fight when necessary, as a king may fight in a war to conquer a nation or a people, but then also to behave in ways of dignity and grace and peace. As it is written in Proverbs of an Eshet Chayil, a woman of valor, all of her ways are pleasant ways, and all of her paths are peace. Whether male, female, or identifying as something else, we are all supposed to act in the ways of Torah, in the ways of a tzaddik, of a mensch, or an Eshet Chayil, even when fighting for our survival or our personal salvation, even when facing the darkest of times, even when waging war against our personal and our collective demons. We must remember, we all have Torah inside of us. It's in our DNA. We all have things that we need to conquer. We all have challenges to overcome. We all have people in our lives or circumstances that test us to prove the merit of who we are and what we are to become. We all have the opportunity to show up and to show our character, even when no one is watching. The key to a successful outcome is remembering that Torah will never fail us. The guidebook and God is always with us, even in the darkest of times. Yes, horrible, terrible things happen. But we can choose to not let the negativity pervade and overtake us, to not define us. We can choose to move through the storm knowing that it too shall one day pass. And then we will get to the other side and bask in the sunlight. We just have to have faith and hold on. To trust that God is with us. There is some higher power with us through all of our trials and our tribulations, and for reasons that we will never know, is guiding and watching over us as our soul evolves through its journey until that point when we are called home. For some, it is earlier than others. But for the time we are here, we are meant to fight like a warrior, like King David, but to also have the love and the compassion found within his Psalms. To balance the Yetzer Hara with the Yetzer Hatov, the inclination toward evil, while we are trying and striving for that inclination to do good. And all the while, remaining mindful of the need for humility. When we want to scream and yell at the world, at our partners, at our families, at our friends, or even to the person that's driving on the street next to us, we need to listen. We need to listen to ourselves and make a gut check. Listen to the screaming voice inside our heads or maybe coming out of our mouth. And then try to find, as we do in the Shema, that still, small voice of God that is inside our souls all the time, begging to get out, to guide us through the hardship, to guide us through our aggravation, through our doubt, our fear, and yes, too, our pain. To help us get to the other side, beyond that moment when all seems most hopeless, to the lesson that is meant to be learned for ourselves, for our world, and then for justice to be served. The justice that is Shoftim. Our Torah is a book of legacy and story, our story, as a nation and a people guided by God. We each have an individual story, a story that then impacts a collective story as we interface with each other and our world. We're like dominoes, each impacting the other. We can build something glorious, or we can trip and we can fall, and then bring ourselves and everyone else around us tumbling down. Our parsha focuses on leadership because with it comes great responsibility, but so too does our place in humanity. When times are tough, as they are especially right now, does anyone feel it? It's tough. We are defining who we are. We are defining who we will be. We don't just show up on Rosh Hashanah asking to be written for mercy and goodness. We are laying the foundation right now. All of us here, those of you who show up and have faith, no matter where your belief or practice lies, is a testament to the oneness and the glory of that which is divine. Just by supporting each other, just by believing in yourself, just by showing up when you don't feel like it, just by supporting Temple, by being here, actions speak louder than words. Actions speak louder than words. And at this time of year, most particularly, may the actions and the words that we speak be reflective. May they be filled with humility, honest and good intention. And may we see, as we discussed last Shabbat in Parsha Re'eh, that which we may not see in ourselves, and look to see that which we may not see in others, to reveal what we need to change and where we need to grow. May we have faith in that which isn't seen, and have faith that, yes, there is something there greater than us, guiding us, forever guiding us. Let us not only listen, but hear, as we discussed in Parsha Ekev 2 weeks ago, so that our relationship with ourselves and with others will improve, and that we will be enlightened. And then, may we walk with humility, like Moses, Queen Elizabeth, and the greatest of kings, so that Avinu Malkeinu, our ultimate sovereign and parent, will inscribe and seal us for good health, happiness, and abundance, always for the purpose of sharing in the coming year. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may it be God's will. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you to our first president, forever the teacher grading me. I like to tease her about that. I always feel so much better when you're happy. I always feel so much better when you're all happy. So, anyway, we're going to go forward. And as we're thinking about where we're going, I'm going to share a story. Some of us in the class have already heard us. We're talking about this Mercury retrograde, but I do want you to know that, just an example, when people don't believe in this stuff, I had to get a new car. My Volvo SUV, my electric plug-in, was just too much money and too big for me now that my granddaughter moved away. And when I tried to carry congregants in it, there was a hump in the back seat, so it really only held 2 people in the back seat, and no one could get back to the 3rd row. So I decided I needed a sedan. So I turned my lease in early, paid the money. Mercury, I left something in the car. They've lost the car. They don't know where it is. The dealer doesn't have it. The leasing company doesn't have it. Auction houses don't have it. Nobody knows where this car is. Now, I go to Hyundai. I go to buy a car. I have this wonderful Ioniq 6. It's all electric. I'm going to be responsible. They make a mistake. Classic Mercury. Contracts. Be careful. Don't sign them. Or if you do sign them, dot your I's and cross your T's. Be careful when you fly. Things will be all disrupted. Be careful with your electronics. Things will break. Be careful with your communication. No one's going to understand a word you're saying, or they'll misunderstand, and really you'll have a problem. On the flip side, someone will call you out of the past. Maybe something needs to return, and it just shows back up. Things happen. But classic Mercury. So they make out my contract, and they have me sign for the wrong car. So they have me come back and re-sign. So they run my credit 7 times, because now I have had 2 loans on 2 cars, and I only have 1 car. So I go in to tell them about that, and then, a month goes by, and I make my first payment, and now I'm getting collection calls because they want to repossess my car because I haven't made a payment. But on which car? Now, character is what you do when no one's watching. The one car that I don't have, which was the first one that I signed for, someone made a $54,000 payment. So I could say, bring it on. You think I own that car? Great, I don't have to make a payment. Fabulous. But then, did I pay $54,000? No. So then I get calls because I passed a bad check. So I'm like, excuse me? Imagine the scandal. A clergy person passing a bad check for a car. But remember, I don't have one car, but I have two. So the car that I'm actually driving is now delinquent because the payment that I made on August 1st went to the first car. This is a nightmare. So I'm so upset. Remember what I said in the sermon? You know, sometimes you're not just like, what do you want to teach us? Even I have things to learn. I don't normally swear and scream. I'm screaming and I'm yelling because there's the person, and I'm swearing, and the person on the phone is saying, I'm sorry, ma'am, but you are delinquent. You passed a bad check. You kept two cars that you're not paying for. And then I had to step back, and I tell you like this, when I say let go, let God, and I had to stop, and I'm like, breathe. As we do in meditation, breathe evolve. Be upright, be humble, breathe. Now, I go to the dealer. What are you doing? You've got to fix this. They're telling me you have to fix this. Does anyone help me as I'm screaming and yelling? No. So I go home, and I think, I got to have a change of attitude. I need an attitude adjustment. So I go back in the next day, and I'm like, oh, what can you do to help me? I need your help so badly. You're the only ones that can fix this. Please fix this. I don't want to go to jail for passing bad checks. Classic Mercury. So I'm explaining to them about Mercury. So one of the salesmen comes over to me and he goes, I can't believe you're talking about Mercury. My girlfriend talks about it all the time. I never believed in it. But now I'm going to go home and I'm going to tell her this story. So suddenly the manager's all over. I'm going to help you. He's going to be the savior. I'm going to be the hero. Let people be the hero in your life. Don't yell and scream at them. And I'm saying this to you because High Holy Days is coming. You know, you can be Winnie the Pooh and have that honey and just bring it all in, or you can scream and yell and be like a screaming meanie and nobody's going to want to help you. I've had Hyundai hang up on me 4 or 5 times. So anyway, the manager calls me today. It's still not resolved, and he says, I'm going to call and I'm going to fix this. And I said, I hope they don't hang up on you. And so anyway, he manages to fix the car that I don't own, but he still hasn't fixed the payment that I'm delinquent in, and they're going to come and repossess my car. I don't know what to say. So my Volvo has disappeared, and now I own 2 Hyundais, one that I apparently paid off and then passed a bad check, and another one that I can't even seem to get them to take my money and put it on the right car. So I said to the Hyundai dealership, oh, and then the car broke. My car, the electric plug that you put in, okay, this is an all-electric car. 2 prongs stick out, one broke. Classic Mercury, it's now broken, okay? And then they say to me, well, we don't know. We've never, this is a 2-month-old car, we've never fixed one of these before. So we want to tell you that the car could come in, and then they come in broken sometimes. So you might be waiting a couple of weeks for that. And then, we've never done one of these before, so now they're going to learn on my car as they fix it. And oh, and by the way, I said, is this covered under warranty? We're not sure. And I'm like, I'm going to breathe. God is testing me, okay? Am I worthy to stand up here on High Holy Days with you? And so I'm like, okay, I'm turning it over, I certainly hope this is covered by warranty. So what I'm trying to say, I'm giving this long story to tell you that there are so many things that are not in our power. And there's so many things that are going to come up out of nowhere to test us. Be mindful of the test. Like when you find yourself getting out of control, take a step back and go, man, am I the crazy one? Is everyone else crazy? What can I learn from this situation? How can I improve? And I'm not a person who yells and screams at people, and I did it. So I'm like, I'm going over to the dark side. And maybe deservedly so, but is that who I want to be in the coming year? No. Walk humbly and upright with God. So think about that as you go forward into the future and into our High Holy Days. And now we're going to do the Misha Barak prayer on page 371. Now this is on the live stream for all eternity that your rabbi is passing bad checks for cars that she doesn't own and not paying for the one she does. I don't know. But there is kindness in the world, because every time I go to plug in my car, I have a problem with my phone, and someone's always there to help. And Mark said to me, what are you going to do when there's no one there to help you? And I said, well, then I guess I'm going to have to figure it out on my own. And so that's what we have to do. We have to have faith in ourselves, that which is not seen, and grow. And then we have to have faith when people are sick or when people are struggling, as we see what's happening in Maui and around the world. And we say to ourselves, why? Why do we have to go through all this? And we don't know. The answer is we don't know. But we can't control it. And we are here. So we might as well try to make the best of it and be positive and have faith that we'll get to the other side. And that sea will part, like in the Mikamocha, and we will have promise and bounty and abundance for the purpose of sharing. So at this time, we ask for that abundance, abundant good health, and an elevated boost of energy for those that are needing it in mind, in body, and spirit. And that we ask that those that need healing around the world and in our own universe, in our own community, here in this room and those at home, that everyone will have a refuah shlema. See your people in your mind's eye, even at home. Breathe in their energy and breathe out. Send them the love and the energy that you have to help uplift them and elevate them. As we sing Mishabera, page 371. Mishabera avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Please rise as the ark is open and we turn to 586. And it's on the bottom paragraph for our Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'tekin l'yotzer b'reshit, shelo asanu kegoyei ha'aratzo, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lefnei melech malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Shehu notei shamayim v'yoser aretz, u'moshe v'yekaro v'shamayim v'mahal, v'shechinatu zo, v'govhei meromim, hu Eloheinu ein od, emet malkeinu efes ulaton, kakatu v'torato, v'edat hayom, v'yedat hayom, v'hashevota el levavecha, ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim, v'shamayim mimahal, ve'al haaretz, mitachat ein od, page 591. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz v'yom hahu Yeh Adonai Echad, U'Shemo, U'Shemo, U'Shemo Echad. Please be seated. Let us read on the bottom of page 594 as we think about those who have lost lives in the fires in Maui and around the world, and those who have lost loved ones at this time and in times gone by as we prepare to do our Kaddish. So let us read number 5 on the bottom of page 594. It is a fearful thing to love what death can touch. A fearful thing to love, hope, dream, to be, and oh, to lose. A thing for fools this, and a holy thing to love. For your life has lived in me, and your laugh once lifted me, and your word was a gift to me. To remember this brings a painful joy. 'Tis a human thing to love, a holy thing to love what death has touched. So on page 598, if you've lost someone in the last 7 days, would you please rise and say your loved one's name? Sorry, here. Stay standing if you are able. Anyone else? We're so sorry to hear. And then the last 30 days, the Shloshim period, if you've lost anyone. And at home, please say your names if you're watching. And the last 11 months, if you've lost someone in the last 11 months, Marianne. Bob. Sunny. Judy. Bob. Anybody else? If you're observing the yard site, the anniversary of the passing of a loved one's death, please stand and then raise your hand. So, Joel.
My mother, Arlene Rubin, and my dear friend, David Abbott.
Natalie. Bob?
My father died in Brazil.
Other. Okay. All right. Harriet. Is there anyone else? Raise your hand. Okay, well, everyone will rise if you're able on page 598. I'll raise my hand when I say V'himaru, and you say Amen. May it be so. So today I was on all opposite ends of the spectrum of life. In Judaism, we have our highs and our lows. So I had to do a funeral for this poor woman who died. She just retired, 61 years old, with her boyfriend in Costa Rica and died boogie boarding. And so her daughter just had a baby, and they were preparing, and I have buried other people in the family. So I had to do that at 10 o'clock in the morning, and it's amazing how well they were doing, surprisingly, but it's a horrible, horrible thing. And this woman who passed had lost her husband when her daughter was 4. But somehow they all had sunflowers and talked about her being such a ray of sunshine for everyone that she met. And then I had to do a baby naming at 12:30. And so when we talked about it in our class, I was going to do the Kabbalistic thing that there is no time, and I got there. And so we've had the glory of not just one, but 2 babies, a double portion of life and love. And that's what we are in Judaism. We go from the highs, the lows, the pain, the joy, the cycle of life, and that's what we're all about. Family, love, tradition. And when we say Kaddish, we remember not only those that we've lost recently, but we think of all of our loved ones that have moved on into the spiritual realm. And if you look at the English, there's no mention of mourning. It's all a glorification and exaltation of the divine. So when we put the praise out, it reflects on our loved ones, and as I say, it then reflects on the divine and back on all of us and elevates us all. So when I say V'himaru, that's let us all say, if you believe in all that, and it's that your loved ones should be elevated, and us too for showing up and remembering them, then what are you going to say? Amen. Or try to follow along in the prayer. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei rabbah, בעלמא דברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי. בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל. בעגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה ברכו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה shalom עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו Amen. May God, who is the creator and author of life, of everything that is seen and unseen, grant eternal rest and peace to our loved ones in the heavenly realm, those around the world who are also mourning and grieving, as together we say, Amen. Please be seated. So energy is really important. So I've actually changed my clothes 3 times today. I had the funeral clothes, and then I had the baby naming clothes, and then I had Shabbat clothes. I don't know if men have to do this. You know, those male rabbis, they just put on a suit. Maybe they change their tie. I don't know. But the reality is that energy, names, it's all important. And it's that which we see and that which is not seen. And so Marianne, our president, is going to come forward and give some announcements, but we are going to honor someone who has taken care of things that are so beautiful for us to look at and see and share. So when we built this building, it was very important to Bert Belzer to create Jerry's Garden on either side of the east and west side of our patio. And so before the announcements, would you like to use this and put it up to your mouth so that they can hear you? And call forward.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Sue, would you mind coming up here to the bima?
Yeah, you.
Sue Jones. Sue Jones.
Yes.
So
Are you able to? Come on, come on.
we have some very special people, and if you're one of them on live stream or here in the building that have tended to our beautiful garden. And I have to thank Miss Wendy Ringrove because she suggested this to me, and I decided my first task as president would be to recognize our special people that tend to this garden. Now I know Dan and Judy Plattis do quite a bit. Dan told me that Judy does a lot of the work. We will be mailing them some recognition, but we have also heard, little birds, that Sue has done it in the past. We don't care when you did it, we just want to know you did it and know that you're very appreciated. And if anybody is appreciated here, it is Ms. Sue Jones. So we appreciate all you do. Thank you. We appreciate all you do keeping our garden growing and our roses so beautiful. What a gift you are to us and to the Belzer legacy. May you be blessed for all you do. Much love, your Temple Emet family. So Wendy, there you
She's
go.
just seen that which is seen and unseen. Okay, there you go. Thank you to
Mazel tov.
Mark Tannen for his
Use
wonderful.
it in good health. And Mark Tan and Rabbi Didi, they designed these and they're beautiful.
So thank you
So-
for, things are important that look at that are beautiful. And we don't want to have our roses dying.
We have so much intense stuff that we forget to think of the local things that we can still touch and see. And we have this beautiful garden. Come on a Saturday morning and even you just sit and meditate in that garden. It's a nice way to start the day. So thank you, Sue.
Thank you, Sue.
For everything.
And please let us know if you've worked on the garden and we don't know about it.
Yeah, if we don't know, we thank you profusely and let us know.
And
in
we'll
touch
get
with
you
Rabbi
your
and
own
we'll make sure.
certificate.
And Dan and Judy out there, thank you very much once again. We appreciate you enormously. So, well, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome to all here in our building and those at home on live stream YouTube. And thank you, Mr. Mark Tannen, for providing that. Our flowers and our service are sponsored by our beloved immediate past President Diana Wolf in honor of her 86th birthday, which is coming in a few short days. So if you're watching, Diana, we're all thinking of you, and you're right here. You are right here. Okay. Are there any new members? Is there anybody new in our sanctuary?
Well, we have returning members. Joel, please stand
Returning
up.
members?
Woohoo, okay. And we have prospective new members. Please stand up and show your faces so we can congratulate you. Yes?
Great. It's fantastic to see you again. We look forward to seeing you at the holidays. It's a really
Thank you for being with
great
us.
time. Thank you for being here. Rabbi, thank you for your wonderful sermon. You kind of reminded me of an orchestra, what you were describing. Swallow your ego and try to work together to get something really great going on, you know. So I heard that. So, okay, and thank you to our musicians, Mr. Dan Spector, Hildela, I called her Hildela. Hilda on a harp. I mean, we have a harp.
Yeah,
This
it's so amazing.
temple has a harp.
And
if that's
Marianne
not
on
sweet,
violin.
I don't know what is. And I was on the violin. It's just I have the privilege to do that, which I've loved all these years. Well, Stacy and Amy are elsewhere. We wish them blessings wherever they are, and we'll see them again soon. Thank you to our dear Heather, our cantorial
Soloist in training.
Cantorial soloist in training. That's when I did, tongue twister. And to Jeremy, who so lovingly helps around this building. I watched him prepare that warm clothing bin. He didn't know I was watching him. It was like the most important thing in the world while he was doing that. And it's really neat. So they're right there to Pat, you know, Alexander for the little homes. Don't forget that. So Dan's Zoom class, Wednesday, August 30th at 7:30. Watch for the Zoom link or contact one. Roger's Zoom meditation class continues on Mondays at 7. So anybody interested in that, contact us so we can get information to you. Mark Tannen's Jewish Legends Zoom classes are the third Tuesday at 7 p.m. And Rabbi Didi's Hebrew meditation just concluded. We had a very, very good session, learned a lot of Hebrew and meditation. It was a very successful class. And it will resume mid-October or November. So watch for details for that. So now the really fun stuff. We have a happy hour at Rockefeller's in Riviera Village.
At 4.
At 4, not 3, 4, 4 o'clock. And on Wednesday, August 23rd, we're going to see the movie Golda at the AMC 20 Rolling Hills Theater, a 4 o'clock movie with dinner at Islands at approximately 6:30 after the movie. So if you want to go to Islands, please contact Marcia because you have to make plans to get room and a table for that place. It's not just a walk-in like some places are easier. So please let Marcia know. And on September 30th at the Grand Annex Theater in San Pedro.
No, that's not happening.
That is-
September 30th. It's the one on Sunday that's, yeah.
Oh, no, that, well,
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
that's it, she's
Yeah.
already had to make, and,
Okay.
and I don't know if, there's going to be
Yeah.
a rain, but this
No.
is September 30th. There is a new singer. Her name is Sophia Tolvik, and she's supposed to be like Joni Mitchell, Judy Collins, some kind of a vibe. So if you're interested in that, she's up and coming singer, want to see what she's all about. Once again, notify Marcia. Marcia's the party lady. She seems to know how to have a lot of fun. And don't forget Pat's food and clothing drive. Speaking of our sisterhood, they're going to have their annual luncheon for 5784 on October 7th. They changed it so it did not conflict with the pet blessing.
Thank you to our
So,
sisters.
as usual, please pay your membership dues so you can be included in the luncheon. Those dues are what make the world go round. So please go ahead and take care of that. And the house, I'm very focused on those bins back there, warm clothes and food. Okay, so our next service is Friday, September 8th. It's a new member open house with dinner at Britt's Barbecue.
No, Britt's Barbecue's catering here at 5.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, so the service will be here, and
The dinner, too.
food will be catered here from
Yes,
Britt's
just like
Barbecue.
tonight.
Yeah, so, and when I said Britt's Barbecue, Hilda's eyes lit up, so it sounds like it's really good. So
Yeah,
we'll
it's
see
very
you
good.
there. Everybody be safe and well. Secure your stuff because we're going to have an interesting weather. It may or may not happen, but be prepared, please. And be safe and well. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Yeshua, Madam President. Thank you. You did a great job. Thank you. So, she's got it going on, doesn't she? All right, so, Golda, please RSVP and let us know if you're coming, like she said. Also, we'll try to squeeze in, if we can, amongst High Holy Days, the other movie, My Big Fat Greek Jewish Wedding, whatever, I don't know. You can't tell the difference between Italians, Greeks, and Jews, right? So anyway, so we'll try to see that as well. But Golda, supposedly, we did the 4 o'clock show because there's a Q&A after with Helen Mirren and the director. I'm not sure how that happened, and as you can see, we like to pray together and play together. So please join us. And remember, I know the men's club is going to be refurbishing the benches, so we changed the happy hour from 3 to 4 so that the men can come and be happy after they've done all that. I don't know. I hope it doesn't rain on you. You know, you might just have to come to happy hour. So anyway, you'll be drinking here. Yeah, there's a lot that goes on too. So anyway, we want to now bless one another with the Birkat Kohanim. So if you're able to, please rise, and we're going to bless one another, and then we'll. What are we doing as our closing number? Adon Olam, our prayer Adon Olam. Okay, so we ask that God bless us and keep us and walk with us when we're feeling low and helpless and lacking a little faith, and to not give up on us like a parent does not give up on a child, hopefully, to help keep them moving forward. May it be God's will. And now if you'll turn to page 625, you will find Adon Olam. Thank you once again to everyone who participated. Thank you once again to Judy and her crew. Thank you for setting everything up and ordering the food and always making sure that we are well fed and libated. Okay, Adon Olam, are we ready? You know I'm going to ask you to do that again. So wonderful. A double portion. Take a deep breath and listen. Oh, you've gotten so good at that. All right, are we ready? Thank you. Adon Olam. 625. Adon. Hashem Allah, B'terem kol Yetzer Nivra, Leik Nasa, V'chefso kol, Azai Melech, Shemo Nikra. Over there and some cookies. Please join us. Shabbat Shalom.